We were lucky enough to sit down with Umesh, who is VP and General Manager of the Application Networking and Security Division at Broadcom. It was really good to hear his insights into the vision and mission behind that business unit, what their direction was and what they were trying to achieve. He reiterated the constant risk that we're under and the amount of constant attacks that he's hearing from customers, particularly from ransomware, but other targeted threats. Also the challenge to stay on top of it, to get the right insights from your platform and ensure that it is locked down in the first place. There were some great insights that he shared around things that they're doing today, such as the co-pilots that we've seen in vDefend that were spoken about earlier on stage. I also was interested to hear that they're working on a security score feature that's similar to that we might have seen from Microsoft to help kind of highlight how secure your configuration is. And I'm really a champion for this. I think our industry is far too complex, and being able to simplify the ways that we manage and secure our infrastructures is really key to that private cloud message that we've been hearing all about. So I hope you enjoy the interview that we recorded earlier on today.
When our division was formed about a year ago, Hawk Tan at that point had clear ask, right? Hey, we're going to have VCF infrastructure, which is going to be compute, networking, storage, and management. So the networking side went there, NSX side, but I'm interested in these two advanced services, security as it pertains to network security and load balancing, because this is a good business. If you're deploying VCF, you absolutely need security and you absolutely need load balancing. You're going to buy from some vendor, so why not VMware Broadcom? And I had the product, so I do it in such a way that they can be consumed seamlessly with VCF. Now, so what happens is the security part has two SKUs. We have a firewall SKU and an advanced threat protection. Those SKUs can only be sold with VCF, and we don't have a problem because we have a very healthy attach rate. It's growing quite well. I won't disclose the numbers, but it's doing well because frankly, if you look at it, ransomware attacks are happening every day. And if customers are not telling you, they're just afraid to acknowledge that in the public, somebody sues them. Everybody's getting attacked. I talked to a bank here and a bank in India, the largest banks in both the countries. They said they get attacked every week, multiple times. Every week, multiple times, right? And if you happen to have the name of your country in your name, then you are in worse trouble, right? Worse trouble because they get attacked all the time. So that's on the security side. Firewall, distributed firewall was a strength. Over the years, we've added advanced threat protection, and there are two parts to it: malware and vulnerability protection, and then the ransomware side, right? Which is the behavioral NTA, NDR. So that's all as part of the ATP SKUs. So two simple SKUs over there. And then we have the RV load balancer. And we used to have like a dozen, 20 SKUs. Now we have one. One for RV, two for security, 3 SKUs total. And that's how we sell direct go-to-market, which the direct sales team sells. And we also sell through the CSP or VCSP channel, where partners have moved from VCPP to VCSP and they need load balancing and firewalling. So we sell there, and we're also part of the Broadcom VMware hyperscaler clouds, where if customers want our product, they're optional, right? We used to call them add-on SKUs, but now we call them advanced services. They are advanced services, but everybody needs them. So that was the vision. Now the vision, like I was talking, I don't know, in the press analyst thing, my vision is threefold. Talk to a lot of customers, right? It's like, hey, you have to have a product which solves their problems. Otherwise, just a me too, we are Broadcom, VMware, please buy, that doesn't work. We're selling to large customers and they have choices for security and load balancing. We are not the only game in town. So we have to be best of breed, right? Architecturally, features-wise. So absolutely we are there. And we are very focused. This is our domain. What features do customers want? What problems are they having? How do we solve them? I'm not trying to throw up 10 balls in the thing for future. One or two, the co-pilot stuff we all heard about, but not 10 balls in the air. because that's too much fishing around.
Clear vision, clear direction.
Clear vision, clear direction. The other is we've done a lot of work. Is we already had integration into VCF, but how do we make it seamless? People should just buy a SKU, click it, and start running it. Right? They
like
should have to
Tesla adding a feature.
It should not be now I have to download this, now I have to do this, now I have to do that. Now I have to go here, there. So it seamlessly just clicks in.
Yeah.
So that's how we've integrated it. Because without going into too much details, you have to get network traffic to a firewall and a load balancer and back. And in the real world, that is very complicated and error prone.
Yeah.
That itself, people take 2 3 months designing. In our case, it's auto discovered, auto plumbed, and off you go. And then also all the automation we have with the VCF VRA, or you can use Terraform and Ansible if you don't want to use VRA. Yeah. We support all of that above. But the third area, best of breed product, highly scalable, integrated with VCF. But the third part is how do we make it really, really simple to use? So we have something called security intelligence for the security products, which can look at all the flows and the data, and it comes up with, hey, this is what you configured for security, but you're not quite secure.
Yeah.
So we don't have it now, but we are working on it, and we'll deliver in the coming quarters something called a security score.
Okay, that's
right?
really useful.
So that will tell the customer, hey, you're doing this, but looking at your application and looking at your traffic, we think your score is on the lower side.
Yeah.
Like it's yellowish to orange or something, but it's not green.
Yeah.
And then they can click, what am I not doing? And it'll tell you, yeah, this is not protected, this is not protected. Because many times people do a few things, I am secure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you put a lock on your front door, but your back door windows are all open, you're not secure.
Yeah.
Right? So that'll tell you that, and then you can go from there. And how do you do it? And it'll also give you a kind of a report. Hey, this is not going right, that's not. So that's all about showing you clearly what is going on and our projection of what is not secure.
Yeah.
Now, some customer may want it like that. There could be reasons. They could say, no, ignore this. Yeah. But we'll show them and do that. And then building up on that is the demo Joe Bagley showed right in the morning today. It's like, how do we have a co-pilot?
Yeah.
Because security at the bottom, it's the firewall, which is a little bit static. And then as you do IDS, IPS, NTA, NDR, it gets more and more complicated, more and more judgmental. So the more judgment or the intelligence you have to use, the more generative AI becomes powerful, right? So that is where at the upper layers is where we want to invest in Gen AI, because customers either don't have the time, don't have the knowledge, or you want to know what is the tool telling me before you are using your brain. So that is where these co-pilots will help, right? Yeah. Because today, when I use an iPhone and every time something new shows up, it's a delight, right? I tell people, like when let's say I'm going to my brokerage firm, right? They do a dual authentication. I don't need to press again on the iPhone. I just look at it and that 6-digit code shows up. So everything is perfect. Minimize the steps. We won't be like an iPhone. Because, but how do we minimize the steps and arm our customers who are very small teams so that they can really deploy security and load balancing? So that's the other part of our goal. So both sides, security, we have security intelligence, heavily investing and then adding additional headcount. Actually, our CEO also agreed to invest more in that area. So we are investing there. On the RV side, we have the RV latency analytics tool, which shows you from the user all the way to the application, every hop, what is the latency, what do you do? Latency goes up, somebody must have changed something. Yeah. So you can look at it, triage it everywhere. So I think those are areas where we are investing more heavily, because self-service, easy to deploy. If it's not easy to deploy, customers won't consume. We are going to a subscription model from a perpetual model. I need every customer who buys the product to get to the value quickly.
Yeah.
That means get it deployed. If you're not deployed, like they won't be renewing next time around. So we are laser focused on that area. So that's a lot of things we are doing, and then everybody is investing in Gen AI. There's going to be a co-pilot for everything, so we are going to have more co-pilots in time. How do you operate the product too? That we didn't quite announce right now, but we are working on that.
Okay.
I won't give any timeline, but we are working on that, because there again, you can Google, but co-pilots are better than Google.
Yes.
In some ways, because they will
can be
tell
grounded
you.
in the right
they
information.
can be trained for that, and then they can tell you in a much. Google will tell you 10 options. Copilot will tell you one.
Yeah.
Go do this, right? So we want everything to get to that stage. So that again, it goes to simplification, deployment of the product, make your the customer, their operational teams or their infrastructure teams so much more intelligent and effective. So that's the other part we are doing.
Fantastic. I think, as you say, there's a number of things that really resonated with me. I saw your interview on theCUBE, I think, in Las Vegas kind of thing, and you said around this kind of notification fatigue kind of thing. People have got stuff coming at them, and being able to have the right information and not overwhelmed is so important. And it also, for me, melds with the point of, it was said on stage today, quite often it's the virtualization engineer is the guy that is expected to secure the virtual environment. And certainly I've worked with security people that don't know what ESXi is or a hypervisor. So I think these are all quite interesting challenges that for you to solve.
So clearly some places have combining the teams, some places siloed, but nevertheless, if you have information which is easily available, most people are quite intelligent.
Yeah.
Or at least that's our thesis. So if you give them the information so that they don't need to spend 5 years of learning everything, and it's good enough, they can move forward, right? They can move forward. So I've told my engineering team, I don't want to see any 20 questions, customer, enter this. What are they going to do? They're going to pick up the phone and call VMware Broadcom. I don't know how to do this. What is the thing? Oh, and the support engineer is going to give them the default value. Program everything with default values. Now they are few experts, let them change what they want. But stop asking questions, just like the iPhone never asks you any questions, right? Default, everything is set up because at the end of the default value is the good value. 9 times out of 10, that is all you're going to do. So why aren't we programming it? So I think that is the other part. Because you're absolutely right. Sometimes the virtualization engineer who is doing this, and he or she is not 25 years in security, and security can be quite complicated. And when you make mistakes, you can lose your job. A CISO and his entire team in Las Vegas lost the job because they got ransomware. They had a product, they chose not to deploy it.
Wow.
The next CISO comes in immediately, I want to deploy it. Because the previous one lost his or her, I don't know, it was her or his, lost the job, right? So how do you make it? And I think if the data is presented in a fashion where it's clear and crisp, people want to learn from it. People want to learn from it. Oh, this is what it really means, and this is how it is. Because everybody in this day and age, you want to build some expertise. You want to build some expertise. And I think security is such an area that you can't go wrong. If you build expertise in security, attacks are not going to stop in our lifetime.
No.
So your career is made. If you can become an expert in security. Load balancing is a little different, but there aren't too many people who know how to set up the load balancers properly. And there's F5 guys and nothing else. Or the public cloud people have their own stuff now. But I think that's an area also which the rank and file don't know how to set up load balancing or what it does. It just doesn't spray traffic across 3. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. And how do you understand those nuances and how are they clearly come to the table? That's, a lot of the VMware community is like vSphere and ESX, they know. But I think these other aspects, which are also essential, you can't really have a cloud deployment
Yep.
without a load balancer and a security solution.
And I think you
That
mentioned
make
the
it easy.
sort of, not the rise of the WAF, but all of a sudden people are coming to you and going, have you got a WAF available as part of the solution?
Our RV users, RV customers suddenly like, hey, what about WAF? Because they're getting attacked.
Yeah.
And the other thing in security, there's not the time, but people were buying one of tool from different vendors.
Yeah.
They have 10 tools. They can't get them to work together. These tools don't talk to each other. They can't make sense out of it. So they deploy 8 sit on the thing.
Yeah.
So I think the days where you can give software, not appliances, which have 4 or 5 of these things built together are way more effective than 10 of these, which you can't make them work together.
Yeah.
And I think that is also what we are trying to do with our security stack. It does firewalling, DFW, gateway firewall is internal firewall, not a perimeter firewall. IDS IPS, which is for vulnerability detection and protection. NTA NDR, which is for ransomware and malware. All these in a fully integrated single stack. So it makes it much, much more effective to use it, because these things call the APIs directly themselves. Rather than what people do is take security products, okay, because they don't talk well together, I'll send the information to Splunk.
Yeah.
First of all, you pay Splunk a lot of money. Then I'll get some consultants to make sense out of it, or Splunk, pay them yet another license, and then it's not in real time. It's after the fact. Yes, it's good to blame somebody, you didn't do the right thing, but you didn't protect yourself properly. So the cloud model is no, it has to be done in real time.
Yeah.
In this day and age, you don't Splunk, and all that is nice for compliance reason, but that's later.
Yeah.
You want to do it.
Let's
in real
analyze
time.
what happened rather than
That's like, it's like blame game, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. Here you want it to work
yeah.
in real time together, and that's another place where our lateral security stack shines, right? It's integrated, sits on top of each other, and provides the solution very nicely. And while we've been very, very successful with distributed firewall for the last 10 years, this last year, thanks to ransomware, we're seeing a lot of success in ATP.
Yeah.
The DFW customers we are able to upsell ATP to that, right? Because they are getting malware and ransomware all the time. And the VLR solution we have is good, but that is after the attack. How do you recover? First, don't get compromised, right? That's where we do. We are to protect, and the VLR solution we have at Broadcom, if you have been compromised, then you can recover from that.
You've got all bases covered these days.
All bases covered. And usually companies either have a recovery solution or a protection.
Yeah.
Broadcom is unique. We have both sides of the equation.
That's been absolutely amazing. Thank you ever so much for your time.
Thank you.